Hey, and welcome back. We are talking all things Legacy of Kain comics this week. And today we're going to look at the comics reader in the Deluxe edition of Defiance Remastered. So here's something hilarious. I actually bought these so that we could read them at the end of my original Defiance run. And then Defiance Remastered was announced with a comics reader, which is actually great because that means I don't have to take them out of the bags, and we don't have to worry about messing them up, and I can just keep them as nice decorative pieces. So yeah, let's take advantage of the Deluxe edition of Defiance Remastered and go look at them. So I'm going to read the first one, the German one, all the way out loud. I don't speak German. I'm just going to read the subtitles there, and I'll read some of the other two out loud as well. You're going to have to suffer through my Kain impressions. Okay, and here's something really cool. I know that I've read both of these comics a long time ago. I don't really remember much about them, but I've never read the Soul Reaver German one. So let's start with that. Cool. Oh, cool. And you can turn music on and off too. We're gonna keep it off while I look at it and put something else back there because of the way YouTube works. Okay, so it goes has little animations panel by panel, very cool. Deep in the abyss of darkness, the vengeance of a fallen angel lurks, condemned for eternity, like the echo of a supreme judgment that will reverberate until the night of all ages. In the beginning, there was Kain, the Lord of the Pillars, an almighty master of the Council, whose army was supposed to conquer Nosgoth and corrupt mankind. To command his armies and to elevate himself to a god, Kain descended into the underworld in search of a soul he could imprison in a body. And so he created me, Raziel. I was the first disciple who received the spark of life from the Master. After me, he created nine more apostles, whose task it was to gather the legions of Kain's army. So, we explore the depths of purgatory, to raise an invincible army brought back from the realm of the dead. An army of vampires. The victory over Nosgoth showed the world the fury and power of the warriors we had created. The resistance of the soldiers from the city was simply swept away by our raging troops. A few mortals who had escaped tried to continue what they called the Holy War, but their pitiful struggle was lost from the start, and only helped to spread the horrifying stories from which the legend of the vampires arose. So I'm guessing this book isn't strictly canon. But it's interesting though. They've kind of got some Templar imagery there. Under Kain's reign, the dynasty of the vampires reached its peak. Or dynasty, depending on the pronunciation from which side of the pond you want. Our master was the sole ruler of the entire known world, and his power grew and grew thanks to his gift of transformation. The ability of transformation, possessed by only a select few, allowed Kain to change his shape, become invisible, read minds. Read minds? And so it seemed that Kain was destined to be the absolute master for all time. Until the day I, his servant, committed the gravest of all sins. Was it because I was the first among Kain's disciples? Or did my immortality drive me to perfection? One day I discovered that I also had the gift of transformation. And I, Raziel, possessed another gift that not even Kain himself had, the gift of flight. My golden wings were simultaneously my heaven and my doom. Creature of nothingness, how dare you? I gave you life, but I can destroy you. Kain's punishment was born from his cruelty. He ordered his disciples to seize me, and I saw madness flickering in the eyes of my brothers. As they cast me into the lake of lost souls, Lake of the Dead, the horrific abyss, the punishment of traitors whose hellish water burns the bodies of the damned. Pain, torment, burns. I felt my body being devoured by the acid of the lake, my agony dragged out for eternities. And yet I emerged from the cursed lake, alive, disfigured, my wings mutilated. The desire for revenge burned into my soul. No one, not even Kain himself, would have thought that this horrifying end was only the beginning of a long story that would surpass both the belief of mortals and the imagination of the gods. Raziel's quest. I wandered endlessly along the shore of the cursed lake, whose acid had burned my face and destroyed my wings. Time no longer had any meaning for the eternal outcast I had become. And yet, just when it seemed like I had lost all hope, I felt his presence. Now this is weird. In the surface world, I had heard the legend of a malevolent being that lived in the heart of darkness, and I had always thought that this multi-armed creature existed only in the imagination of the vampires. The Elder God. Wow, we've never really seen the Elder God with a head here. They're really leaning into kind of the octopus thing. With the last of my strength, I prepared to take up my last fight. And yet, as I heard his voice booming, it seemed almost as familiar as the one I had heard elsewhere when I was still among the living. Do not fear, Raziel. I, too, have felt Kain's revenge. The hatred for the realm of the vampires unites us. I live in the heart of the darkness, where I have waited since time immemorial for the one who can quench my thirst for vengeance. The Elder God was my ally, and became my spirit guide. He initiated me into the secrets of secrets that would allow me to reach the upper world and challenge Kain. He taught me how to become as powerful as the masters themselves, not to feed on the blood of my victims, but to devour their souls and make their power my own. The Elder God told me how I could find the earthly path that would lead me to Nosgoth. Now, the time has come to take the long path that leads to revenge and retribution. The time is ripe for Raziel's quest. Okay, really interesting. So, this kind of reminds me of the old NES days, where a lot of the times the artist doing the box art would only get like a synopsis, like the infamous Mega Man box. I mean, obviously here they had a little bit more to go on, but you can definitely see where they've taken some liberties, and then the Elder God is just wild in this one. Definitely leaning more into the squid aspect, but apparently nobody shared the correct color palette with the artist here, so. Yeah, that was really, really interesting. I'm really interested to see kind of the story behind that. So now let's look at the Soul Reaver Top Cow comic. Nice, and we got Ruin City going on in the background. I am Raziel, firstborn lieutenant of my master and creator, the deified vampire Kain. It has been a millennium since my brethren and I stood with him and subjugated the land of Nosgoth, enslaving most of the pitiful remnants of humanity. Kain's contempt for mankind has driven them nearly to the brink of extinction. Ooh, Thirst Trap Raziel. Get it? Thirst Trap? So when the rare opportunity struck to taste the blood of one so beautiful, I could not resist the temptation. What is this? Your blood is not human, woman. Nor is it our holy vampiric blood. What manner of creature are you? I am as you, Raziel, dead and yet living, a construct of the elder gods. They sent me to deliver you a warning, the prophecy of the coming darkness. What? My sister? Clan's glories. Kain's arrogance is at the course of Doom's. But you must remember, Kain is a jealous god. It's weird from that angle, doesn't it? Cast him in. Destroying that beautiful face of yours. It's not as handsome Raziel anymore. Okaya, the youngest of your brethren, will degenerate into a monstrous beast, but still be cursed with his human frailties. The noble Zephon's once human appearance will be warped into a distorted reflection of his black soul. You will be forced to seek them out and destroy them all, Raziel. Fratricide will consume you. Ah, the priestess! Even the high priestess of the vampire worshippers will fall before you. Her sorcerous possession of others will not save her from your wrath. The bells of the Silence Cathedral ring out across the land once again. The future is before you, Raziel. So yeah, the priestess, of course, was cut from Soul Reaver 1, from the original version. Fate has determined your course. You must unveil the secrets of the ancients and overcome the challenges to your ascension. Your coming has been foretold, Raziel. Fulfill the legacy of Kain and become the Soul Reaver. Enough. This echoes Rahab's line here. We were lost in the depravity of humanity when Kain found us and bestowed upon us our vampiric gift. Share your tales with others I have sent to the Stygian depths. I do not fear Kain, for I am one of the few that know his truth. He was mortal once, as were we all. So this one's really interesting because it's foreshadowing content that would eventually be cut from the retail version of the game. And that must have been so frustrating for the creators of the comic, because that content was cut at a very, very late stage in production. It was almost a third of the game. And we see here in the comic, we've got the priestess and the activation of the Silenced Cathedral. So that had to have been wild to find out that the comic book you've spent the better part of a year working on now doesn't represent a good chunk of the finished game. So that's just really, really interesting that that's in there. And comic book production does not move fast. So yeah, that must have been quite a thing to discover. It's interesting that it chose to foreshadow Raziel's fate. But it's also interesting that in very, very late 90s that the horrifying vision of his future came in the form of a well-endowed woman. It's fun. It's funny because sex and sexuality is not really something that we ever really talk about, or is not something that's hugely a factor in these games. So it's just kind of funny to see the late 90s kind of rear its bosoms there, so to speak. But yeah, it's also interesting that it certainly feels like a promo for the game, which of course it was. Raziel definitely looks kind of weird some of the time, but still really, really good art. Very just of its time, man. I remember the old Image and Top Cow books back then, like Spawn, The Pit, The Max, The Darkness, reading a lot of those comic books back in the day. So just really, really, really a time capsule here, really fun. So this comic launched in October of '99 as a tie-in to promote the release of Soul Reaver. And yeah, it's just it's really interesting to see, like it gives a full introduction to the story. It doesn't give too much away, like it doesn't give away Dumas or Rahab, for instance. But we do get a glimpse of Melchiah and Zephon. And so yeah, it's almost a primer for who these characters are and what to expect going into the game. So, but it was a fun read. I liked it. Hopefully you liked it too. Let me know in the comments. All right, now we're gonna look at the Defiance comic. And I'm really excited for this one. I was, after our OG Defiance playthrough, I was gonna read this comic on camera with you, and now it's going to be a lot easier. So yeah, let's get into it. So this is a new cover by Tyler Kirkham, who originally drew this comic. So really cool that they brought him back, 22 years later to touch back on this work that he did so long ago. So yeah, let's get into it. There's one cover. Here we go. Here it is. There is a magical operation of maximum importance, the initiation of a new aeon. When it becomes necessary to utter a word, the whole planet must be bathed in blood. Fun and games with the Seraphan, yes! Self-proclaimed protectors of man. Can't even save yourselves. Nom 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 nom. We each play the part fate has written for us. We are compelled ineluctably down to preordained paths. Free will is an illusion. Of course, we have the Seraphan music here. Your destinies have been foretold. Your fate is inescapable. The Order of the Seraphan has been killing my kind for ages. Do you truly believe you can succeed where so many of your brethren have failed? You will join countless others before you and accept my greatest gift. Death. Squish! Squish! Blood, the eternal hunger of my kind. But how much different can my own dark heart be? Nom, 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 nom. I'm going with he's just sucking the blood out of the heart here. I am Kain. I am the last guardian, the only survivor of the Circle of Nine. At my whim, the world will be healed or damned. Swole Kain. With each step I take into the future, my choices in the past gain in importance. But will my actions be enough? Enough to ensure I take my rightful place as ruler of this world? Again, this style is very, very Image Comics Top Cow from the late 90s and early 2000s. No neck. I am the guardian of balance. I hold the future of Nosgoth in my hands. My journey has been long, the opportunity for mistakes littered along the way. How far I have traveled since the beginning. But there is no wrath as terrible as that of the righteous. I was born a human of noble blood, although I did not know it then. I was also born the guardian of balance. Seems awfully ill-prepared to be out that night. We're just recapping the story of Blood Omen 1 here. The decay was so deep that only the death of all 9 guardians would restore the pillars completely. My own death as the Balance Guardian would be required to restore Nosgoth, but with it, a terrible cost. I was the last vampire, and my death would also mean the extinction of my race, which was a natural part of this world's order. The choices remained. Kill myself and restore the pillars to full strength, while making extinct a race that this world would need to survive, or continue my existence and let Nosgoth suffer, while I restored the natural order. I really love the lettering in this. I made the only choice I could. The vampires would rule again, with me as their rightful king. And so my reign began. I was secure in the knowledge that with enough information I could devise a plan to bend the fates to my whim. Using the time-streaming devices of the treacherous sorcerer Mobius, I traveled through time, exploring all periods of Nosgoth. It was in these travels that I discovered my third choice, a solution for the future to ensure the world I wanted would come to pass. Patience was my most valuable ally. My plans for securing the future of Nosgoth only required timing and control. Raziel fulfilled his fate when I cast him into the abyss, ensuring his destiny rebirthed as a being like no other in the land. Only I knew the truth of the Soul Reaver, the truth that would be released when I struck Raziel with the sword. Later, he would discover that terrible truth himself, that it is his very soul contained in the Soul Reaver blade. A world where time means very little. His destiny was already written. Raziel fulfilled his role to perfection as he set out to destroy his very brethren. Brethren? It says brethren. Time had taken its toll on his brother vampires. They had become monstrous reflections of their own dark souls. Raziel took their power as he took their lives, but even then he did not see his true destiny. Raziel was led back through history, using the time-streaming devices. Very odd Zeph on there. In the past, forgotten in their vampiric transformation, my lieutenants had once been proud Seraphan heroes, the pride of the Order. Ooh, yeah. Nice. This is really cool. Raziel would kill these heroes, including the young human he once was. This act would allow me to resurrect them into the loyal vampires they would become. Time travel would ensure that the events in Raziel's life would come full circle, allowing him to play a part in his own vampiric creation. This set the stage... Oh, very interesting Rahab here, too. This set the stage for me to turn the most righteous vampire killers into the most ruthless vampires the world had ever seen. Herd to killer, feeding on the very society they had pledged to protect. Ah, the Hilden here. Everything was in motion. My moment had come. My one chance to control my own destiny and redirect fate. But my plan failed. More than failed, it opened my eyes to the true threat to Nosgoth. With fate changed, I was flooded with new memories. Memories of why the pillars were built and why they must never fall. Raziel means to resurrect Yanis Audrin, and that is something I have to stop. The Hilden, neglected in memory, had laid a trap, and we had walked right into it. Now I must find Raziel. When I stopped his soul from joining the blade, he slipped from this reality. Disappeared into a realm beyond my sight, a place that restores him and ensures his survival. It is a place I must someday discover for myself, for this land still has some secrets I have yet to learn. My only hope of finding him lies with the one person who plays with time as if it were a child's toy, Mobius. Well, Cattle, do you not wish to avenge the deaths of your fallen comrades? Come, let us finish this little distraction. There must be no further delay. I saw a glitter of hope in your eyes just then. Let me assure you, the outcome of this battle is not in question. Let's go halvesies. But the time for games is over. The true battle lies ahead. Let your blood grant me the strength I need. Splat. Om nom nom. Given the choice, whether to rule a corrupt and failing empire, or to challenge the fates for another throw, a better throw, against one's destiny, what was a king to do? But does one ever truly have a choice? One can only match, move by move, the machinations of fate, and thus defy the tyrannous stars. Getting lots of practice with my Kain impression today. One common thread that we're seeing in all of these comic books is, of course, that they are tie-ins. They are promotional materials for the video games. So all three of them are recapping particular story points that you would need to know to get into the games. Defiance gets a little further back and recaps a bit more of Soul Reaver 1 and 2, which is very cool. The art, again, is very, very much a product of its time, and honestly, I would love to see Tyler Kirkham draw more Legacy of Kain with his new style. I mean, look at this new cover. I want to see more of this. This is cool. Yeah, I'd love to see him do another series of Legacy of Kain comics. I think that would be really cool. I do remember one of my issues with these comics back in the day was that there's not much that's new. The story, of course, is Legacy of Kain, and it's super cool, and we love it. The art is, was very, very cool for the time. It was the trend for the time. Wouldn't say it's quite Legacy of Kain myself, but I mean, it's still pretty cool. But yeah, I'd be very interested to see what Tyler Kirkham would come up with in a modern comic series. So anyway, those are the classic Legacy of Kain comic books. Have you read them? If so, what did you think? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see and you want to see more, do the things.